Hi everyone, in today's video, I'm going to discuss about square roots. So let's start. Square root. How to find the square roots of a number. First, we need to know what is a perfect square. A times A equals A squared, where A is any real number. A squared is a perfect square. Perfect squares. Number 1. If A is equal to 3, then A times A is equal to 3 times 3. To change this 3 times 3 into its exponential form, that gives us 3 squared. And to simplify 3 squared, that gives us 9. 3 squared and 9 are perfect squares. Number 2. If A is equal to 4, then A times A is equal to 4 times 4. To change 4 times 4 into its exponential form, that gives us 4 squared. And to simplify 4 squared, that gives us 16. 4 squared and 16 are perfect squares. Number 3. If A is equal to negative 2, then A times A is equal to negative 2 times negative 2. And the exponential form of negative 2 times negative 2 is quantity of negative 2 squared. And to simplify that, that gives us positive 4. So negative 2 squared and 4 are perfect squares. Number 4. If A is equal to 3 tenths, then A times A is equal to 3 tenths times 3 tenths. To change this 3 tenths times 3 tenths into its exponential form, that gives us quantity of 3 tenths squared. And to simplify that, that gives us 9 hundredths. This quantity of 3 tenths squared and 9 hundredths are perfect squares. Number 5. If A is equal to 1/2, then A times A is equal to 1/2 times 1/2. And to simplify that or change that into its exponential form, that gives us quantity of 1/2 squared. And to simplify quantity of 1/2 squared, that gives us 1/4. Because in the numerator, that is 1 times 1, that gives us 1, and 2 times 2, that gives us 4. So 1/4. So quantity of 1/2 squared and 1/4 are perfect squares. So now we know what is a perfect square. So by definition, what is a perfect square? A perfect square is a number that can be expressed as the product of two equal integers. So now we are ready to learn square root. So how does a square root look like? So this is how a square root look like. So we have here the radical sign, and 2 is our index, A is our radicand. So the square roots of 4 are positive 2 and negative 2. In symbols, we have square root of 4 with the index is equal to positive and negative 2. Note, for square root, we may not write the index 2. It means that instead of writing square root of 4 with the index is equal to positive and negative 2, we may write it as square root of 4 without the index is equal to positive and negative 2. As you can see here, square root of 4 with the index 2 is equal to positive and negative 2, and square root of 4 without the index is equal to positive and negative 2 are just the same. The positive real square root of a number is the principal square root. So in square root of 4 equals positive and negative 2, positive 2 is the principal square root. So how to find for the square roots of a number? So look for the number wherein if you multiply it by itself, it will give you the radicand. So let's try to answer this. Find the square roots of the following. Number 1, square root of 9. So square root of 9 with the index 2 indicated. So first thing that we need to do is to copy the radical sign and then the index 2. And then we will try to find for a number wherein if we're going to multiply it by itself, it will give us 9. So if you will try 2, so that is 2 times 2 is 4. So that is not 9. So you will try to use another number. So if you will try 3, so 3 times 3 gives us 9. So that is the number that we are looking for. So the factors of 9 are 3 and 3. So this 3 times 3 will be changed into its exponential form. So that is 3 squared. So that is square root of 3 squared. The index 2 and the exponent 2 will be cancelled out. And the answer for number 1 is 3. Number 2, square root of 16. Again, you copy the radical sign and then you will look for a number wherein if it is multiplied by itself, it will give us the radicand 16. So since 3 times 3 is equal to 9, then we will try to use a number greater than 3. So we will try 4. So 4 times 4 gives us 16. So that is the number that we are looking for. So the factors of 16 are 4 and 4. So to change this 4 times 4 into its exponential form, that gives us square root of 4 squared. So 4 times 4 is 4 squared in its exponential form. So cancel out the radical sign with the exponent 2. So the final answer for number 2 is 4. Number 3, negative square root of 4. So first, we need to copy the negative sign outside the radical sign. So negative. Then, we copy the radical sign and look for a number wherein if we multiply it by itself, it will give us 4. So 2 is the answer because 2 times 2 gives us 4. So 2 times 2, we will change that into its exponential form. That becomes 2 squared. And the radical sign and the exponent will be cancelled out. So the final answer will be negative 2 because there is a negative sign outside the radical sign. So we need to copy that. So negative 2. Number 4, negative square root of 36. So that is equal to negative. We copy that outside the radical sign. And then copy the square root. And then look for a number wherein if it is multiplied by itself, it will give us 36. So that number is 6 because 6 times 6 gives us 36. And then change this 6 times 6 into its exponential form that gives us 6 squared. So cancel out the radical sign and the exponent. So the final answer is negative 6. Let us proceed to number 5. In number 5, we will be dealing with decimal. So square root of a decimal number. So square root of 9 hundredths. So first, we need to copy the radical sign and then look for a number wherein if it is multiplied by itself, it will give us 9 hundredths. So that number is 3 tenths because 3 tenths times 3 tenths gives us 9 hundredths. And then change this 3 tenths times 3 tenths into its exponential form. So that gives us quantity of 3 tenths squared. Again, radical sign and the exponent will be cancelled out. And the final answer is 3 tenths. We will proceed to number 6. Number 6, still a decimal number radicand. So negative square root of 25 hundredths. So is equal to, we copy the negative sign, and then the square root sign is also copied, and then look for a number wherein if it is going to multiply by itself, it will give us 25 hundredths. So that number is 5 tenths, because 5 tenths times 5 tenths gives us 25 hundredths. And then change this 5 tenths times 5 tenths into its exponential form. So that gives us quantity of 5 tenths squared, and then the radical sign and the exponent 2 will be cancelled out, and our final answer is negative 5 tenths. Number 7, positive and negative square root of 36. So copy the positive and negative sign, and then copy the square root or the radical sign, and then look for a number wherein if you're going to multiply it by itself, it will give us 36. What number is that? So that number is 6, because 6 times 6 gives us 36. So this 6 times 6 will be changed into its exponential form, that is 6 squared. And then the radical sign and the exponent 2 will be cancelled out, and the final answer will be positive and negative 6. Okay, number 8. In number 8, we have a fraction radicand. So square root of 4/9 or 4 over 9. So that is equal to, so copy first the radical sign, and then look for a number wherein if it is going to be multiplied by itself, it will give us 4. So the number is 2, because 2 times 2 gives us 4. And in the denominator, that is 9, the number to be multiplied by itself will be 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. So the factors of 4 are 2 times 2, or 2 and 2, and then 9, 3 times 3, or 3 and 3. So next, we will change 2/3 times 2/3 into its exponential form, and that gives us quantity of 2/3 squared. And then we cancel out the radical sign and the exponent 2, and the final answer here is 2/3. Number 9, positive and negative square root of 81 over 100. Or that is positive and negative square root of 81 hundredths. So that is equal to, we copy the positive and negative sign, and then copy the square root sign or the radical sign, and then look for the number that if you're going to multiply it by itself, it will give us 81. So the number is 9, because 9 times 9 gives us 81. And what number, if we are going to multiply it by itself, it will give us 100. So the number is 10, because 10 times 10 gives us 100. So this 9 over 10 times 9 over 10, if we will change this into its exponential form, it will give us 9 over 10 squared. And then we will cancel out the radical sign and the exponent. And the final answer here will be positive and negative 9 tenths. And then the final number, we have number 10. Square root of 16 over 25. So that is equal to, we copy the radical sign, and then what number, if you're going to multiply it by itself, will give us 16. The number is 4, because 4 times 4 equals 16. And what number, if you're going to multiply it by itself, it will give us the value 25. So the number is 5, because 5 times 5 gives us 25. So we have 4/5 times 4/5. So if we will change that into its exponential form, it gives us 4/5 squared. Then the radical sign and the exponent will be cancelled out, and the final answer for this number 10 is 4/5. And that ends our video for today. I hope you have learned something in this video about square roots. if you have learned something about square roots and if you want to know about mathematics, please subscribe to my channel. See you again on my next video.